Welcome, absolutely everyone, to Broke and Gaming. I'm your co-host, Shea.
I am your other co-host, Dan. And hey, Shea, what have you been playing recently?
Well, Dan, I went on vacation this past week, which is why the episode is late, that we made no mention of, but I forgot.
You guys get it.
I forgot when we record. And so I have not had a whole lot of opportunity to sit down the last week or two to play console games. However, I was able to pick up some time on a Switch game and an iPad game that I've had for several years.
Sure.
But first, I want to talk about Moonstone Island, which is a game that I got on Steam a little while ago, which is a combination of the barest minimum of Pokemon, and then also what is that game that everybody loved during the pandemic?
Animal Crossing?
No, the other one. Stardew Valley. That's what it's called. Stardew Valley. Jesus Christ.
Sure.
Moonstone Island is a combination of the barest of Pokemon mechanics and Stardew Valley. And I don't know. I'm not typically into those games, but this one is kind of intriguing to me. I'm not very far in, so we'll see how long the grind is. But you play a wizarding hopeful, I think. I forget exactly what the cult that you're trying to join is called, but basically you leave home, you crash land on an island, and you're just kind of on that island now as the resident witch or whatever it is, just slowly building up your house and shit like that. And then you can also form relationships with villagers and shit like that, and you have a little Pokemon-esque sidekick.
I want to play this. This looks delightful.
Man, it's very relaxing. For whatever reason, I don't know why I added it to my wish list on Steam. I think maybe we were talking about doing it for the show at one point, or maybe I had and hadn't brought it up. But it was on sale a little while ago for $4 or something like that, and I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I like it more than I like Stardew Valley because people are not talking to you so much. You know?
Okay.
Which, in a game that is, driven by text boxes is really annoying when they have, 73 things to say to you at one time. And it's I would just like to do anything right now. I don't want to be talking to you for 45 of my real-life minutes, you know? So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, which is not typical of me.
Is it a day-night time progression kind of situation, too? Do you have a limited amount of time per day? Okay.
Yep. You will just collapse at some point if you stay up.
Fuck.
If you stay up too long. You won't, die, but you're I gotta go to sleep, and it's going to be right here, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's good. It's good. I like it so far.
It's on Switch. Okay.
There hasn't been a whole lot of utility for the, sidekick monster that you have, but I'm assuming that as we progress more, that will become more apparent. So far, if you go into caves and shit like that, there will be creatures that you need to battle, but I haven't figured out if you can catch more or not. It's very strange.
Oh, and it's a side view RPG. Is it a card battle mechanic?
Yes.
That's what it looks like from this picture. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually kind of the combination of Pokemon, Stardew Valley, and Midnight Suns or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that because I thought it was just a turn-based battler where you pick your moves, but yeah, it's card-based. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Speaking of Slay the Spire, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does look like the Slay the Spire battle a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, speaking of turn-based battlers, I have also, on vacation, can obviously fly with my Switch, so I brought Pokemon Brilliant Diamond with me and have been digging into that a little bit. I don't know why, but the Sinnoh region has been my favorite for Pokemon. So I really enjoyed this game when it came out and just didn't bother buying it for myself when I got the Switch because it was still $60.
Jesus.
For the remake, and it's it's not that good. And also the original was $20 when it came out. So well, maybe, I don't know. That's revisionist history, I think. But anyway. But yeah, I got it as a Christmas gift this year, and I've been really digging into that one a lot recently. I have a mysterious egg in my party right now. Like, I don't know where I got that from, to be honest with you, but it's taking up a spot in my gym battles. So,
Ugh. I'm so far removed from Pokemon at this stage of my life. I think Diamond might have been the last one that I played, but I can't recall. Like, yeah. I played it on my DS. Is that DS era, probably?
Yeah, I think so. And then
okay.
I think Y was the last one that they made for the DS. X and Y. That's the last one that I played before this one. It's not for me anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But I have the remake of the one that I like the most, and I'm perfectly content for the rest of my life to not buy another Pokemon game. So,
I mean, they're all basically the same thing.
Correct.
Like, not to,
Yeah. Except one of them has a Pokemon that's an ice cream cone.
That is correct. As discussed in a quiz, I believe.
Right, yeah, because they're not running out of ideas, even a little.
No.
And how could you after 12,000 Pokemon?
Yeah. How many just like monkey types are there at this point? Like just
7
various
000?
apes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one that I played a lot on vacation. Age of Empires 3, the definitive edition, picked up that one to compare it to Age of Empires 2 definitive edition, and I don't know what I was expecting there except for like a reskin of the original game, and that's what it is. And like, I didn't like Age of Empires 3 a whole lot. So
and nothing has changed.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I shouldn't have expected anything different. It's a fucking definitive edition, not groundbreaking remake of it.
True.
But like, there's like this whole like home city mechanic, which is like, I don't know, it's cool and like narratively makes sense in the sense that like it's primarily set in the Americas during the like colonial era.
Oh, okay.
Which, not great historically, but as far as like your European home country sending you supplies as you level up mechanically makes sense, but I just didn't like it a whole lot.
So do you just play as like colonizers from various countries, like all battling for control of the Americas?
I mean, yes. Short answer is yes. The long answer is that,
history is very complicated.
Yeah. The campaign is actually, I believe, spans 3 different generations of the same family. The original was a member of some weird secret order, similar to the Assassins of the Templars. I was gonna say it's
Assassin's Creed 3. That's great.
Yeah, no, I mean like the conceit for the family coming over to the Americas is that he's looking for the fucking Fountain of Youth. So like, it's right there. But then he like fucks a Native American, and his descendants live in the Wild West now. So
great.
Yeah, it spans like colonial era into like pre and post Civil War, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same game, and I shouldn't have been surprised by that even a little bit, but I was. That's Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. As soon as the 4th one gets a definitive edition, you know that it's going to be in my library, and I'll update you on that. That's right. Shit. Yeah, but the one that I've been playing, I think probably the most, and like I said, I haven't really been playing a whole lot of games the last several weeks, but the one that I played the most while I was on vacation is a game called Beyond a Steel Sky, which was like one of the flagship games for Apple Arcade when it came out, I believe. It's a sequel to an Australian-developed game called Beneath a Steel Sky, but it's like a puzzle game. I don't know. That makes it sound much more simple than it is, but it's like a narrative puzzle game, I would say, is how I would describe that. You play as a guy hunting down the kidnappers of a person from Aboriginal village that kind of adopted him as their own after he and his robot pal helped them out, and now you are returning to the city that you left to find that kid and unravel the mystery of these Gapland kidnappers. So it's like a kind of a post-apocalyptic steampunk world that you're in. It's very cool, very slick, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So Beyond a Steel Sky is what that is. Been playing on my iPad of all things.
Definitely sounds interesting.
It's very odd in the sense that like the main guy is American and every other character in the game is clearly Australian.
Yeah.
And because I didn't play the original, I have no idea why that is, or if that's like narratively important. But yeah. But yeah, that's what's going on. Is the American man is saving the Australian child in the Australian wilderness. So yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's like it's the kind of puzzle that's like it's not like The Witness where you're just like bashing your brains out how to try to solve
Sure.
this, but it's like very much
They all
like
have a logical bend to them.
yeah, yeah, it's like very much like this is your environment. How are you going to solve this problem in front of you?
Right.
And so like I'm having a lot of fun with that. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Dan, what about you? What have you been playing recently?
Well, I dipped back into Rogue Legacy 2, which we've definitely talked about on the show previously.
Yeah.
Still
Really good
very
concept
fun
for a game.
Oh, it's so good. I had to so like the mechanics aren't super complicated or anything, but I
Right.
did start a new game file just to because at a certain point like it just ramps up the difficulty and like the map is so huge once you like start getting through certain parts that I'm like I need to at least refresh myself on how this all works. So I did like a couple runs in a new game and then went back to my original save file.
Sure.
And I got to a point I think I have unlocked almost all the character types, like the occupations or whatever. Like I just got the pirate version. Like their special attack, you just conjure a tiny pirate ship and can fly around for a while shooting cannonballs.
Oh,
It is so overpowered. It is wild. But like there's not like a bad like the chef type isn't amazing, but it does burn damage, so like pretty good. But I was fighting a boss and got through it, and it's in the area. I forget what all the areas are called now, just because it all blends together in my head. But there's a bunch of like mimics around, which are believe I've gone on record to say my least favorite fantasy genre enemy type is a mimic.
Yeah.
I fucking hate them so much.
Yeah, dog. Fuck off.
But so I beat this boss, and there's just a giant treasure chest in the middle of the area, and I'm like, they fucking wouldn't. And sure enough, phase 2 of the boss battle is a big-ass mimic. And I'm like, fuck all of this. But still super fun. Like, I'll beat it one day. Maybe, possibly. Like, I've put so many hours, it feels like, into this at this point, just because it's a run is anywhere between 5 to 35 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And so like I'll do maybe 2 or 3 runs at a time if I have the spare time to do that. And like progression is slow because you're building up your town at the same time, which will give you different perks, and you build the armor. It's such a good drop in, drop out game, especially now that I remember how the mechanics work. I feel like over a year off from it. I don't remember when we played it initially.
That sounds right.
Because we didn't cover it for the show, right? Like we just
No.
We just both had independently played it because I don't think it was in our price range. It might still not be in our price range. Yeah, it's still $25.
Damn.
Yep.
Still.
Or I mean, that might be less than it is. 25 as of now. I don't know how much it was when it initially dropped or when we were playing it, but
yeah,
it is as of press time, $25 still. So I think that's the reason we never covered it. I mean, we got it for free from PlayStation at the time, so whatever.
Right. Yeah,
but yeah, dude, so much fun still.
Yeah, man, I really wish that I liked those games more.
Like rogue likes or
yeah, I mean, like I enjoy them for sure, but like I don't know, I feel like I'm more inclined to play a game with a central character. And while I really admire the idea behind Rogue Legacy 2, I don't know. I feel like I like building a specific character out rather than trying again with a different build completely. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a RPGer, of course. So
yeah. The only disconnect is that like you're supposed to be the descendant of the previous hero every time you do a new run. but nothing else realistically changes. Like, your blacksmith is the same blacksmith, which would have covered a span of 1,000 years. At that point, like, that kind of doesn't really work, but it's still super fun.
I mean, maybe the whole town is ghosts. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe there's some sort of explanation that I just haven't gotten to, where everybody else is immortal except for my dumbass.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so silly and so much fun and really unfair at times, especially if you get like the negative attributes that allow you to get more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's the one where, and we may have discussed this specific one before, I'm not totally sure, but where like every movement on the screen creates like a light trace.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have like just those bouncing metal balls going around, like, it'll fill up the screen very fast. Or if you particularly have like a projectile weapon, like, it just becomes so overwhelming. Like, it's hard to track what the fuck is going on. But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. I'll hopefully beat it at some point. We'll see. It's not looking great at the moment because I did not beat that mimic. And the boss fight itself isn't that easy leading up to the mimic, so fuck.
Sure.
But the other game that I've been playing a bunch recently, because it was free, is a game called Deadcraft. Have you heard of Deadcraft, Shea?
I have not. Tell me all about it, Dan.
Oh, I will do my best. So, it's a post-apocalyptic zombie game, of which there are 20,000. And it's built a little bit like Dismantle.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulled back in like you can't break everything all the time, always. But your primary thing is crafting.
Mm-hmm.
You are a character named Reed, who is essentially Blade if Blade was a zombie and not a vampire. Okay. Your mother was bit by a zombie when you were in the womb, and so you are half zombie, half human.
Cool.
Like, you basically just have like a zombie arm that you can use to do fucking weird ass zombie attacks. Like, you know the thing in Akira where like just big tendril arm out of nowhere?
Yeah.
You can do that thing. But for some reason that also gives you control over zombies. Like, you can grow your own zombies.
And why not, Dan?
Yeah.
And why not?
Like, there's a farming component, and you can plant, like, you know, fruits and vegetables and whatnot. But you can also just collect corpses and bury those in the ground and water them with zombie blood, and then they become your minions. It is fucking crazy. Like, the characters are real anime-ish and dumb as hell, and the cutscenes for when you craft stuff are also very stupid. Yeah. Like, but it's fun. Like, everybody's super over the top. Your main point of contact, like your main ally, and I'm going to give a spoiler because I don't particularly care, because it was kind of a little bit contrived. Like, you're like, I don't know if I trust this guy. He's definitely hiding something. And as you're running these missions for him, like, you just become more and more distrustful of him to the point where you outright accuse him, like, you are absolutely fucking hiding something. And he goes, oh, yeah, totally, I am. Here, come meet my zombie child that I just keep in this cage, which is the whole reason I'm doing any of this. I'm like, oh, dope. Ooh. Got it. Yeah.
Keeps in a cage, huh?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep, he's got a bionic arm, and he's like, oh, yeah, we were roughhousing, and my kid took my arm off. It's fine. It's all good. So silly.
I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing a lot of memes about Nina Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist.
Sure.
Who was just a... I'm assuming from your reaction there, Dan, that you are not familiar with the tragedy of Nina
Tucker. No. I definitely am.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I had for a while, which I don't remember why I was getting them as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what in the cultural zeitgeist spurred the creation of them in the first place, and then how they ended up on my doorstep. So I assume it's something horrific and not particularly positive or reflective of what I'm looking for online.
I know certain listeners would not be familiar with this. Like, people that I know listen to the show, like specific people, I know this would not have come across their anything. Or, like, if it had, they might not understand the context. And this is one of those things that I'm so hesitant to explain, which I think is part of what my reaction was. Go for it.
Yeah, so Nina Tucker is the daughter of Shea Tucker, who is a state alchemist in the Full Metal Alchemist universe who specializes in chimera research, which is fusing two species together using alchemy, which is like kind of forbidden, but not quite. And basically what happens is Shea Tucker needs to come up with another breakthrough or he's going to lose his state alchemist license, which is a wild fucking thing to happen. Because, like, how many breakthroughs are there in a year in that particular field? But anyway, at the end of his rope, he's all of his research has been, like, fusing two animal species together, and those have been great and successful and whatever. And at the end of his, like, allotted time to come up with something new, he doesn't have anything, so what he does is fuse his daughter and his daughter's dog together into this monstrosity that immediately begs to die.
It is one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen in anime, which is honestly saying a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. This, like, that
and it's
particular
so
arc
early in the series.
Oh my god, right. Yeah, it's like the second thing that they do.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was getting some of that as well on social media, and I feel like I remembered at the time why, but now I can't because I think I blocked it out.
Right. If
like there must have been something in the news that had happened, and people were like, "Oh, it's like that thing."
Yeah, but like, if something brings up Nina Tucker memes, like, it's not a good thing. So, like, I absolutely can see both of us blocking it out after it happened, and that's why neither of us can remember why they showed up in the first place.
Like, from February of this year, just some random person on Twitter just posted, Nina Tucker and Alexander from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. They're pretty cute characters, an inseparable pair, and it's just a photo of the two of, like, what yes. The fuck is going, like, the worst.
Oh yeah.
Like, like, somebody online started something, and everybody collectively was like, "Oh yeah, let's just ruin everybody's day by reminding them of this thing." And if they don't know about anime and they want to know, they'll have to research this shit and independently get bummed out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So good.
And now we've contributed to that.
Yeah, so, sorry, Brian.
This is what happens when you suggest puns, Brian.
He hasn't. In fairness, I put out that call for the actual play, and Brian did not submit any puns. I promise. So that's the major thing I've been playing, and, like, I don't know how much longer I'll continue, just because it's kind of the same like, I'm now to the point where I can build different types of zombie minions in a very Plants vs. Zombies type of thing.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah, like, I can build essentially, like, a zombie turret to just, like, put on the field. And battle-wise, like I said, it's like Dismantled in that it's just, like, running around and smacking stuff. So, like, that, I may experiment with that a little bit, like, customizing these minions, but, like, there's not a lot of meat left on that bone. The one thing about it that's interesting is in games of this type, like Don't Starve or whatever, you have all those different meters that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Stamina, food, and whatever. This has 4 different, like, regular meters, which is hunger, thirst, HP, and stamina. But in addition to that, because you're part zombie, there's also, like, a zombie level meter of, like,
got that bloodlust.
A little bit, right? Like, so eating regular food will decrease your zombie like I'm sure they call it something, but, like, the meter just looks like a mannequin head,
Okay.
And the more zombie stuff you do, the more like it's like a left to right thing, where like the zombie part takes over this mannequin head, and if you use your zombie
I see.
powers,
Gotcha.
it'll decrease that.
It's like your humanity level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably the better way to put it. And so like if you do like because you can turn your whole arm into like basically a meat shield, and that'll decrease it a little bit. Or like I said, eating regular food will decrease it, which I think is kind of odd, because you have to then eat like zombie meat or drink zombie blood in order to increase that back up. And it's a mechanic I haven't done a whole lot with. Like the one like zombie attack is sort of a Hail Mary, like if you're dealing with a huge wave of enemies all at once. Because it's post-apocalyptic, so there are raiders in addition to just like the zombie enemy types.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Which we can add a new zombie term to the list. They call them zivers.
Oh boy.
Don't know why, but it's Zivver. So add that to that quiz we did way at the beginning of our run of what zombies are called in different media types. But I don't know.
Was that quiz from the second episode that we did?
I think so.
When we did My Night Job?
It was Night Job and that shooter.
Yeah. The bullet hell game.
Yeah.
The name of
with
which...
a complicated name. Something DX, blah, 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 turbo, yada, yada.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep, one of those deals. Yeah, I do believe that was the second episode. But yeah, no, that's been the majority of my play. Right now in the area that I'm at, we have this little thing called Music Fest that happens every year, and it is one of the busiest times. Like today is one of my only days off for a bit, and boy, I'm gonna go grocery shopping after we record, and that is fucking it. Like I have a 6-hour karaoke gig tomorrow, Shea.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. But I don't want to do this today, but we don't do quizzes or anything like that anymore, and so I don't get to do weirdo fun shit. But I've been watching a bunch of old Brian David Gilbert stuff from Polygon, and he had developed at one point a Kojima name generator. And I think that's something worth doing at some point. We need a whole bunch of polyhedrals in order to do it. But in a future episode, I would like to do it when we haven't played anything. Or very few things. But right now, we are still recording for our new podcast. Shea, do we have any updates for our actual play?
Yeah, initially we had announced we were shooting for the next weekend of August after you listen to this episode, but that's probably not going to happen. But later this year, we will be launching the Broken Gaming Plays Draugrs Daedra actual play of the Delvebound system, which is a kind of reskin of D&D 5e set in the Elder Scrolls universe. And so we've gotten a couple sessions of that recorded. It's going very well. I think everybody's having a good time. We've had a couple production meetings. We've talked about a lot of things. Some fleshing out of characters is going on. It's very exciting, very fun to be a part of. And we're hoping to get that to you before the end of the year. So keep an eye out for that.
It's fun because I've never done I've done tabletop stuff before. I've done role-playing stuff before, but I've never done it in this format with like a group of people I don't know super well. Like I'm kind of the odd person out in terms of like
yeah, I was gonna say the party composition.
You know all of
Aaron.
us.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun, like getting to know people and the way that they play. And we already know who the breakout star is going to be. We'll see once these episodes drop if you agree, but I can't imagine you won't. But it's been super fun. We've all had a great time. We're building relationships between different characters that I think are going to be really fun to continue role playing. The sessions that we'll be recording next, I'm really looking forward to, because I think two of our characters in particular are going to have a lot of really, really good role-playing, character-building stuff. And man, oh man, I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, it's a wholly new experience for me. I'm having a blast with it. I'm excited for you guys to hear it. And that will be coming very, very soon. But I think that will just about do it for us for this time. Unless you do want to dive into this Kojima name generator.
Not this time.
No,
but
it's
I
fine.
do want to talk real quick, Dan, about are there any games this month that you're looking forward to playing?
I wish I had the capacity
as
to pay
a
attention.
setup for me to give.
Yep, go for it.
Setup for me to give mine. Star Wars Outlaws drops.
Oh, sure.
And about 3 weeks, I think. I'm very much looking forward to playing that. The open world Star Wars game that, from my understanding, you don't play as a Jedi. So very exciting stuff coming on the horizon for me. But yeah, I pre-ordered it. Just waiting for that release date, baby.
Yeah.
Bugs and all.
Right? I mean, you're so much more into Star Wars than I am that I'm going to just have to live it vicariously through you, I feel, at least for now. Unless you convince me to buy it, which is a strong possibility.
It's $70, dog.
Look, you know,
if you're not into it, you're not into it, and $70 is not going to change your mind.
Pretty fair. Yeah, good point. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, certainly not going to pre-order it. I would imagine.
Oh,
but,
no.
Yeah, I might be able to convince you after it comes out. We'll see.
I'm looking forward to hearing about it at the very least.
Yeah, it'll at least make me stop talking about Starfield for 4 fucking seconds.
I mean, this is the first time it's been mentioned this episode,
or the Age of Empires franchise.
That's right. At any rate, if you would like to follow us on social media, you can do so at BNGPod on Instagram, where we post custom artwork for every episode, as well as deals that you should be aware of that we call cheap codes. You can also follow us on Facebook at Broke N Gaming.
If you want to share the show, you can do so with our hosting site, which is anchor.fm/BNGpod. If you want to follow us on Twitch, where I promise in another life I will stream again. Maybe I'll even finish Village.
Hey!
But I haven't done that for a while, and I do plan on getting back to it, but just not right now. But if you would like to follow us on Twitch, you can at twitch.tv/BNGpodcast. And if you'd like to catch all of the episodes that we've ever published since the summer of last year, I think.
Something like that.
And all of the streams since the same time period, you can go over to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@BrokeNGamingPodcast.
If you'd like to send us an email for any reason, such as I'm genuinely puns about whatever, I'm good with it. You can do that at brokengamingpod@gmail.com. All right, Shea. I think that'll just about do it for us today. So, until next time, goodbye, absolutely everyone.
Goodbye.